Hello, welcome to my video. This is part 2 of How to Love, so if you haven't watched the first part and are interested, you definitely should. This part contains implied sex, topics surrounding abusive relationships, a brief mention of vomit, and a suicidal statement. However, I promise nothing is explicit. Also, a friendly warning, this video does contain cursing. As always, I hope you enjoy. Now on to the video.
In which Atsumu's feelings are now impossible to ignore. Fuck. Osamu let out a string of curses as he threw Suna's bed covers aside and swung his legs over the edge of his lover's bed, causing to wince at the aches in his body before standing. He began to gather his things scattered around the room, only one thing on his mind. Atsumu. Sweetheart? Suna's low and tired voice spoke from the bed, its owner groggily rising and sitting back against the headboard. Osamu stopped shoving his clothes from the night before into his bag to glance at Suna. Suna's hair was sticking up in odd places, his face wearing a more tired expression than usual. Osamu dared to let his eyes trail down further to drink in the love bites decorating his neck and chest. Did I wake you? When you're being that noisy? No shit. What time is it anyway? Like, 8? Then why the hell are you? The abrupt zipping of Osamu's bag interrupted Suna. I have to go. He walked over to Suna's nightstand, opening the drawer dedicated to him and pulling out fresh clothes. What's the rush? Have someone else to see? When Osamu simply pulled on his clothes without acknowledging his remark, Suna frowned. Osamu? Seriously, what the hell? Did something happen? Now fully dressed, Osamu turned to look at Suna. I was not supposed to sleep over. I remember I told you I needed to get back home. Whoa. Here's what we're not gonna do. Blame me. I just asked if you could stay for a little while after. You could have said no. 𝘧𝘃𝘲 woke me up when I fell asleep. And don't even try to lie, cause I know I fell asleep before you. You look cute when you sleep. Any other day, Osamu would have erupted into a red, blushing mess at Suna's comment. However, today it made steam seep out of his ears. You let me sleep over when I specifically said I couldn't afford that cause I looked cute? I really needed to be home last night, you know that. Did I really? What? Know that you really had to be home last night. You just said you should get back home before it got too late. I asked you why, and you were like. To demonstrate, Suna furrowed his eyebrows and waved his hand around dismissively. Okay. Why I wanted to be home is none of your business, Rin. All you had to fucking know was that I wanted to be home. Maybe I would care more if you actually told me why. You don't care? Considering I let you sleep over at my house in my bed knowing that my little sister could knock on the door at any moment. And you wake me up at fucking 8 in the morning on a Monday with your dick tied in a knot. I'm pissed right now, not caring, Osamu. And you're probably just trying to go home to your secret girlfriend or something. Secret girlfriend? Now you're pulling bullshit out of your ass. Well, how would I know? My brother needed me, Rin, my brother. I don't even have a girlfriend. Why would I have a girlfriend when we're... Whatever. Point is, I was supposed to be home for my brother yesterday. And I wasn't. Suna's face softened at Osamu's guilty expression. Was it really that important? It was, and all you cared about was taking little photos and obsessing over me while I was sleeping. Ha. Don't get it twisted, sweetheart. You're the one obsessing over me. And Osamu couldn't deny it, because it really was true. You're childish. Listen, I fell asleep right after you, okay? Nothing intentional. Can you at least try to help me out here and drive me home so I don't have to wait for an Uber? Suna sighed as he climbed out of his bed. Fine. Thanks. Yeah, that's what friends are for, I guess. About 20 minutes later, Osamu slipped through the front door of his house and dropped his shoes off at the Genkan. Atsumu? I'm home. He walked deeper into the house, seeing Atsumu eating alone at their dining table. Atsumu seemed lost in thought when Osamu walked over and tapped his shoulder. Atsumu flinched, truly not realizing someone else had entered the house, and turned around slowly to see his brother. Hey. When Atsumu spoke, it was in a quavering, quiet voice, his words aimed right at Osamu's heart. Where were you last night? Where? Atsuna's, like I told you. You said you'd come back. Why no, I needed you. I know. Last night was one of the worst nightmares I've had all week. I was bawling my eyes out and it felt like I was gonna die and you were too busy getting laid. Atsumu, I'm sorry. Atsumu glared at his brother and gave him the most disgusted look he could muster. Sorry doesn't mean anything, Samu. Did you not think of me? Did you not think of me for a split second? Of course I did. I accidentally fell asleep. I'll never let it happen again. I can't say that I believe that. I'm tired of people not caring about me. Especially my own brother. Come on, Atsumu, I do care. Lately I've been feeling like a second option. Not just with you, but everyone. And you know I don't like being second best. I don't think I deserve to be the second option. I want to feel prioritized. Atsumu's voice cracked as tears welled up in his eyes. I just want someone, just one person, to put me first. Osamu's heart shattered as Atsumu stood up from his seat and grabbed his plate. I've got classes, I need to get ready. If you'll excuse me. Atsumu pushed past Osamu and headed into the kitchen. Osamu let out a sigh and sat at the table, rubbing his hands over his face. Man, I fucked up. Monday. 6:37 p.m. Private messages with Rin. Hey Rin, I'm sorry about this morning. I was angry at myself and I projected it onto you when you really weren't to blame for my own screw up. I'm sorry. Rin has come online. It's fine, I get it. You were clearly upset and I was being a bit insensitive. Honestly, I was put off by the idea of you actually going home to a girlfriend, which I know is fucked up and something you wouldn't do. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why you'd think that, but I'm not mad at you 𝘵𝘵 or anything. Cool, smiley sooner. Just to be safe though, I should probably be the one to come over to your place when it's late at night. Sounds good. I was thinking the same thing. Glad we're on the same page. Is Atsumu okay? No. Obviously he was really upset when I got home. He left the house not too long after I came home because of classes. I made dinner, and he should be getting home pretty soon. Hopefully I don't get the silent treatment and can talk to him then. Damn, I'm sorry. He's your brother though, he won't hate you forever. Brotherly love and all that. He dislocated my arm once. With love. But seriously, I hope you do sort things out. And also that he doesn't dislocate your leg or some this time. Me too. Oh shit, he's coming in. I'll talk to you later. Bye, good luck. Sweetheart has gone offline. The second Atsumu had stepped into the house, a pleasant, savory smell reached his nose. Osamu's start cooking, he assumed. Atsumu untied his shoes before walking to the kitchen, seeing Osamu grabbing bowls from a cabinet. Osamu looked over his shoulder as he closed the cabinet with one hand, his other arm holding the bowls. Hey Atsumu. Atsumu blinked at him and silently made his way to his room to drop off his backpack. When Atsumu returned to the kitchen, Osamu was standing there with his hands behind his back and his head tilted downwards. I made curry. I know you've been craving that. An awkward silence filled the air. Atsumu cleared his throat. I have been. Osamu perked up at the sound of Atsumu's voice. I already set up the table, so we can just dig in. Can you grab drinks though? I wasn't sure what you wanted, so I decided to let you handle that. Alrighty. A few minutes later, Atsumu walked to the dining table to find Osamu waiting for him, tapping his fingers anxiously against the table. Atsumu pulled out a seat, jolting Osamu out of his trance. Yeah here. Atsumu sat down and looked at the hearty bowl of thick curry in front of him, salivating more by the second. I gotta say, this looks hella good. I would hope so. They each said their thanks before digging in, Atsumu letting out a satisfied hum. God, it tastes just as good as it looks. Is this an apology? Part of it. Is it working? Dunno. What's the other part? Me trying to find the right words to express what you deserve to hear. I care about you a lot, Atsumu. I haven't said this in a while, but I love you. Always have, always will. I hurt you because I was being irresponsible, and you deserve better than that. I wasn't there when you needed me. I fucked up, and there's absolutely nothing that can excuse that. I will do better in the future. And, I'm sorry. I love you too. I love you, and I'm going to need you to never do that again. I won't. I'm still upset. Really upset. I'll need a bit of space. Osamu lifted his head and sat back in his seat with a sigh. Completely understandable. If it's okay for me to ask though, how did you get through last night? Sakan was with me. Osamu raised an eyebrow at Atsumu. Really? That's really good. Yeah, he's. Atsumu's face grew hot, and he knew for a fact his cheeks were tinted red. Really great. As Osamu went back to his curry, Atsumu's heart rate sped up, and a warm feeling began to spread throughout his entire body. The next morning, Atsumu found Sakusa sitting in the same spot he always had in the clearing. At his side was a large, black shopping bag that piqued Atsumu's interest. Sakusa, hearing Atsumu's footsteps, turned around and raised his hand in greeting. Mornin' Sakan. Atsumu walked over and took a seat next to Sakusa. Are you feeling okay? I'm feeling mostly better. Atsumu's cheeks warmed up a little. Thanks to you. Sakusa coughed and nodded. That's good. Good thing I was here when you came. What's with the container? Sakusa pointed to the small, rectangular container in Atsumu's lap. Oh. Atsumu excitedly opened the container to reveal 2 neat rows of onigiri inside. Tada. Oh, did your brother make those? Want some? Why not? It took everything in Atsumu to not gape at Sakusa as the latter took off his mask. Somehow Sakusa had gotten even more handsome since he had last seen his full face 3 weeks ago. Atsumu used his hands to cover his cheeks, feeling embarrassed at the thought and knowing he was blushing. What's up with you? Atsumu turned slightly to see Sakusa wiping down his hands with a towelette and a raised eyebrow. You're kind of red. You're not sick, are you? No. Come on, you don't gotta scoot away, I'm not sick. Sakusa rolled his eyes as Atsumu grabbed his arm and pulled him back to his original spot. Now. Atsumu placed the container of onigiri between them and picked one up, Sakusa doing the same. Cheers. Sakusa snorted as Atsumu tapped their pieces of onigiri together like they were wine glasses. The two continued to talk as they ate. Say Sakan, why were you here so damn early yesterday? Oh, that. I had just dropped my parents off at the airport. We argued on the way there about how I don't like any of the women they set me up with. When they come back from their trip, I'm expecting a wave of unsolicited planned dates to come back with them. And I can't just tell them, hey, I'm gay, because God knows how badly that would go. It's frustrating. Sakusa sighed loudly. I came up here yesterday to just blow off some steam. Well, I don't know how much it'll help, but if you ever need someone to vent to, I'm your guy. And if you need a place to hide out at cause you don't feel safe, I'm also your guy. And, if you need someone to get you out of a couple of pointless dates, you guessed it, I'm still your guy. But, I'm sorry Sakan. Why are you sorry? It's not your fault. You shouldn't have to deal with that. You don't deserve it. Life doesn't choose who gets bad luck, Mia. Life doesn't care about what I deserve. I get what I get, so I'm just making the best out of it. Atsumu raised the half-eaten onigiri in his hand. Food helps. PFFT. Right about that. Keeping yourself busy helps too. This clearing helps. Atsumu turned to look Sakusa right in the eye. Yeah. The people there too. The way that Sakusa looked at Atsumu with such appreciation made Atsumu's blush instantaneous and impossible to hide. Why are you getting so flustered? Shut up. Keen to change the subject, Atsumu remembered the bag next to Sakusa. Sakan, what's in that bag of yours? I almost forgot. Sakusa finished his onigiri and dusted his hands off before reaching into the bag, pulling out a large, folded grey blanket. This is for you. It's a 7-kilogram weighted blanket. Thought it might help you sleep better through the night, and I heard it can help with anxiety as well. Sakusa carefully placed the blanket back in the bag and handed it to Atsumu. Atsumu took the bag graciously and peered inside before looking back up at Sakusa. Tears welled up in Atsumu's eyes, his bottom lip quivering as his heart fluttered. Are you actually going to cry? Me? Cry? Never. Atsumu sniffed and quickly blinked away his tears, but his thumping heart and the tingly feeling in his gut didn't leave. You always seem so shocked when I do or say something nice. That's partly cause you're an ass 80% of the time. Fair enough. But, it's also cause you're always there. Caring about me. Well, yeah. Is this not what friends do? Atsumu teared up again. I don't have a lot of people I feel like I can rely on. I haven't felt this great because of a friend in a long time. Guess you'll have to get used to it. Both Atsumu and Sakusa reached for the last onigiri in the container. Sorry. You can have it. At this point, Atsumu was nearly certain someone had a string wrapped around his heart and was pulling at it, throwing it around his chest at their leisure. It's okay. Take it as a thank you for sticking around. Sakusa took the onigiri from the container and carefully broke it in half, offering a piece to Atsumu. Here. Eating's more enjoyable with friends. Atsumu smiled as he took the onigiri half from Sakusa's hand. Yeah, it is. Tuesday. 8:03 p.m. Private messages with Mori-kun. Atsumu-kun. Atsumu has come online. Mori. Hi. How are you? I'm okay. How are you? I'm alright, thank you. I had something I wanted to ask you. Hit me with it. So like. It's been months since we last hung out. Wanna go bowling Thursday? For old time's sake? Oh yes. Is it just gonna be us two? I'm gonna invite 𝘹𝘃𝘶, but I wanted to make sure you'd be able to go first. Why? Please, he'd only go if you're going. Oh. Send me a pic of you blushing. I'm not blushing, you weasel. Weasel? Okay, but weasels are really cute, so I'll take that as a compliment. Wait, I've forgotten my mission. Pic please. You're not worthy of a photo of my fine ass. Is 𝘹𝘃𝘶 worthy? OMFG, Atsumu not being able to take this anymore. This is a preview of the teasing that will ensue on Thursday. Is it too late to back out? Yes Iniho. I've got physics work to do, so I'll spare you for the rest of the night. Phew. I mean. Happy studying, Mori-kun. SMH. Hahaha. Alright, good night. Good night. See you Thursday. I'll give you times and stuff tomorrow. Yo, I'm excited. Me too. Okay, good night. Night. Mori-kun has gone offline. Atsumu has gone offline. Two evenings later, Atsumu was standing near the entrance of a bowling alley not too far from his university. Atsumu whipped his head around to see if he could spot Komori or Sakusa, as Komori had texted Atsumu saying they could see him from where they were. After a few seconds of pointless looking, a voice called out to Atsumu in the distance. Atsumu-kun. Atsumu turned his head to the left to see Komori smiling brightly and waving wildly at him, Sakusa walking rather stiffly by his side. Atsumu grinned and waved back, walking over to meet Komori and Sakusa. Mori-kun. Atsumu-kun. The two wrapped each other in a tight embrace and patted each other's backs. After a few seconds, they pulled back, and Atsumu turned to Sakusa with a small smile. Hi. Hey. Why you're dressed like you're going to a funeral in Sherlock Holmes. Sakusa looked down at his outfit consisting of black Doc Martens, dark jeans, a basic black shirt, and, to top it off, a long, black outing coat. He rolled his eyes and adjusted his matching black mask. I just wanted to wear this, though there might be a death today if Komori continues to piss me off. Hey. What did I do? What did you do? Sakusa pinched the bridge of his nose as Komori feigned innocence, and Atsumu spectated with a bemused expression. You keep making unnecessary comments and jokes in reference to me and someone who shall not be named. Like, twice. The entire 20-minute car ride. Atsumu snorted and laughed into his fist. Oh man Sakan, you look ready to explode. Someone who shall not be named? Is this Harry Potter? Sakusa turned to glare at Atsumu while Komori giggled. Harry Potter? Sherlock Holmes? What's with the movie references? I've been watching a lot of popular Western films lately. Wish you would put that energy into stats. Komori busted out laughing as Atsumu blushed, Sakusa smirking under his mask. Is that a blush Atsumu-kun? Because of 𝘹𝘃𝘲? No. You don't have to deny it, that's adorable. See that blush 𝘹𝘃𝘲? Sakusa rolled his eyes and looked away from Atsumu. The guy blushes at everything I do. Oh. Shut your trap. And for the record Sakan, I've been watching those movies 'cause of my English class, thank you very much. Sounds like a poor excuse. Mori-kun, defend me. Nah, I'm gonna have to agree with 𝘹𝘃𝘲 here. I hate you both. Or, how sweet. Anyway, can we get inside? There's mosquitoes out here. Mori-kun's probably attracting them. You ass. Don't start bickering. Let's at least get inside first. Fine. With that, the three walked through the front entrance and into the bowling alley. The place was familiar, as Atsumu had been a few times in the past. The alley was relatively small and a bit dated, but lively and fun all the same. Atsumu looked around the alley as he waited in line with Komori and Sakusa at the front desk. Damn, I remember coming here on a Friday night and it being packed. Right. Well, mostly university students and families come here because of the area, and it is a school night. This isn't packed to you? Atsumu and Komori turned around to see a tense Sakusa grimacing while glancing around and taking in the sight of all of the people in the alley. Komori shook his head with a knowing smile as Atsumu laughed. For this place, this is empty. Yeah, we came here on a good night. Oh, lucky us. You don't have to say that so sarcastically Sakan, lighten up. Sakusa furrowed his eyebrows and grumbled while Atsumu turned back to Komori. Does your girlfriend still work here? Hell yeah she does, and she's working this shift. And you know what that means. We're getting in for free like we used to. You bet. Thank goodness for our. Say Sakan, are you bowling too? Of course not. I don't know what's hiding in the depths of those finger holes. And I'm not too elated about the very worn bowling shoes. I'll spectate. I think you're just chicken. PFFT, chicken? About what? Going up against me. I'm kind of a pro at bowling. Sure you are. It's okay Sakan, I can understand why you're trying to avoid inevitable defeat. Oh please. I'm going to kick your ass so hard you won't be able to stand straight for days. Oh really? I'm gonna knock them bold ass eyebrows right off of you. Sakusa stifled a laugh, and Komori's jaw dropped as he brought his hands to his short, thick eyebrows. Leave my eyebrows out of this. Not my fault they're in Arial bold font. Listen here you son of a. 10 minutes and a dozen insults later, the three were at their designated bowling lane. They were sitting at the small table assigned to their lane, Sakusa watching as Komori and Atsumu put on their bowling shoes. Komori, finished with his shoes, rose up from his chair. I'll go put our names into the score dashboard thingy. Once Komori walked away, Sakusa turned his attention to the slightly shivering Atsumu. Damn, is it just me, or is it cold in here? Yeah, it's cold. Komori did mention to me earlier that it's an older place. His girlfriend said that apparently they need to do some work on the air conditioning so that it'd work better for the colder months. I guess the idiot forgot to tell you. Yeesh, I was fine outside 'cause we weren't there that long. Wish I brought a jacket like you and Mori-kun. Sakusa looked at Atsumu shaking with chattering teeth for a few more seconds before sighing. Here. What? Oof. Sakusa had thrown his coat right at Atsumu, the latter scrambling to take hold on it before it fell to the floor. Atsumu looked down at the coat in his arms and then up at Sakusa, who he saw was wearing a long-sleeved black shirt. As you can see, I'm wearing long sleeves. So you can wear my coat. Atsumu quickly turned away, suddenly feeling very warm and definitely looking like a strawberry. Thanks. Yeah. Atsumu tosses around the coat a bit in his hands, trying to find the sleeves of this damn humongous coat. His hands weren't making it any easier, they were slightly quivering from the cold and giddiness from the fact that he was actually going to wear Sakusa's coat. Geez Mia, you look like a child. Just stand up so I can help you. Atsumu scoffed as he stood up. You don't have to be so mean about it. Sakusa stood up and walked around the table to Atsumu, taking the coat from his hands and shaking it out. You can freeze for all I care. But there was no bite to his words as he gently slipped the coat onto Atsumu. Atsumu turned to look at Sakusa behind him, and he could have sworn the tips of his ears were a bit red. A subtle red danced across Atsumu's cheeks at the sight. Atsumu cleared his throat and scratched the top of his head. I definitely braved through the cold, but I guess this coat is nice. Sakusa shook his head and rolled his eyes for about the 5th time that hour. Whatever floats your boat. Komori's voice cut into their conversation. I've got everything set up. Atsumu-kun, as the self-proclaimed pro, you can go first. Atsumu smirked and went to pick up a bowling ball. Watch and learn Mori-kun. This first frame is dedicated to you Sakan. As Atsumu took his position in front of the bowling lanes, Sakusa sat back down at the table while Komori stood near Atsumu. Atsumu closed his eyes and took a deep breath, then shrugged his shoulders a couple of times. You're taking this real serious Atsumu-kun. Atsumu opened his eyes and turned to meet Komori's lopsided grin. Someone is really trying to impress someone and land himself a boyfriend, huh? Atsumu's blush was instantaneous, and Komori giggled and patted his shoulder. You think of your dear Sakan while you toss that ball down the lane, okay? Atsumu, still looking like a tomato, refocused his attention on the lane. He took 3 steps back before walking forward, quickly now, his arm with the bowling ball pulled back. With a swing of his arm, he sent the bowling ball cleanly down the center of the lanes. Until it veered right into the gutters. ... Komori burst into laughter, clutching at his stomach as he looked from Atsumu to the bowling lanes to Sakusa, then back at Atsumu. Atsumu was a fiery scarlet, his fists clenched at his sides. It's just 'cause I'm rusty. And you were distracting me, Mori-kun. While Komori just kept laughing, Atsumu dared to look at Sakusa. Sakusa had his arms crossed over his chest as he leaned back in his chair. Don't dedicate a frame to me ever again. I'll get a strike this time, just you wait. A minute later, Komori was wiping tears from his eyes as Atsumu resumed his position in front of the lanes with another bowling ball in tow. Still dedicating this frame to Kyo? Oh, shut up. Atsumu made another clear-cut throw, sending the bowling ball down the center of the lanes. Just as it neared the center pin, it swerved to the far right and only knocked down a single pin before falling into the gutters. Komori was howling at this point, and Atsumu made a quiet, embarrassed noise. That was just a warm-up. You suck me. Hey, no I don't. I swear, it's just been a while. Komori walked away to pick up a bowling ball for himself, still giggling along the way. He went back to the bowling lanes and looked at Atsumu, who was huffing and pouting with crossed arms. I'll show you what a real warm-up looks like, Atsumu-kun. Komori took 2 paces back before stepping up again slowly, raising up his swinging arm behind him. In an instant, Komori had propelled his arm forward, sending the bowling ball zooming down the center of the lanes and knocking all the pins down. Atsumu gawked at the sight, Komori doing a little happy dance beside him. Starting off strong with a strike. You definitely can't beat that, Atsumu-kun. Just go get your damn ball. Ooh, someone's bitter. That was just luck. Since you think that was luck, watch closely as I get lucky again. Unsurprisingly, Komori got another strike. 2 strikes in a row. Ready to admit defeat, Atsumu-kun? What? Never.
What are you doing?
Atsumu might as well have admitted defeat, because the next hour and a half of bowling was much the same. Komori would always get strikes or spares, and Atsumu would either knock down little to no pins, or earn the occasional spare. The scene was so depressing that Komori and Sakusa tried to motivate him in hopes that he could manage at least 1 strike. Come on, Atsumu-kun. Just a couple of months ago you were getting strikes like nobody's business. Be that Atsumu-kun again. I'm trying. Atsumu pouted and slouched as he grabbed a bowling ball. I'm trying, but right now, I'm fucking sucking. At least you're good at rhyming? Not helping. If you get a strike, I'll buy you a beer. Atsumu's ears perked up at that. Beer? Damn, I could use a nice beer right about now. Atsumu looked at the bowling ball in his grasp and at the lanes in determination. I'm gonna get that beer. Atsumu walked towards the bowling lanes with his head held high. He took a deep breath and stared at the pins waiting at the end of the lanes. As he took 3 steps back, Sakusa's voice rang out. I believe in you. And that's all it took for Atsumu to snap his arm forward with such force, yet such grace, as he sent the ball down the lanes and got a quick, clean strike. Yes. Atsumu threw his hands into the air as he walked back to the table triumphantly. Sakusa was clapping quietly while Komori stood up with a wide grin. Komori suddenly raised his arm up with his hand splayed out. Atsumu's eyes widened, and his heart skipped a beat as he flinched. Komori hadn't noticed, as it had only happened in a matter of a second, and he brought his arm down to firmly grip and squeeze Atsumu's shoulder. Good job, Atsumu-kun. Oh. Hey, yeah, thanks. Atsumu turned his head slightly to meet Sakusa's alert eyes, and Atsumu knew that he had noticed his flinch. Atsumu gave him a soft smile, saying that he was fine, before opening his mouth to speak. So, Sakan, can I cash in my free beer? Bet you'd prefer a free kiss. Atsumu frowned at Komori while Sakusa turned away and cleared his throat. Let's just go get your beer. Okay. Sakusa stood up and began to walk away, Atsumu speeding to his side. Are you having any fun, Sakan? Yeah, just sitting there watching Mori-kun and I play. Yeah, I am. You two are pretty entertaining. Atsumu smiled. Glad you think so. It's been a while since I hung out with anyone. It's really nice to be out of the house for something other than a walk, the store, school, the gym. Our meetings in the morning are an exception, of course. Sure would hope so. Atsumu and Sakusa arrived at the food area of the alley. After Sakusa ordered the beer that Atsumu wanted, he lowered his voice and looked Atsumu in the eye. You looked pretty startled earlier when Komori raised his hand like that. You good? Atsumu slowly exhaled and nodded. Yeah, I'm okay, promise. Alright. The employee came back with the beer, and Atsumu happily took it from their hands as Sakusa paid. As they walked back to their bowling lane, Sakusa watched the peaceful look on Atsumu's face as he sipped his beer. You know me, It's nice hanging out with you someplace outside of that clearing. Atsumu smiled a little. Yeah, it is. They soon reached their table, and Komori looked up from his phone when they sat down. How's your beer, Atsumu-kun? Amazing. Tastes like victory. Komori chuckled while Sakusa snorted. Good. Hey, can you come look at something on the dashboard with me? There's some weird but oddly cool looking feature that we can enable. Ah, okay. Guard my beer with your life Saken. Sakusa nodded absent-mindedly as he scrolled on his phone. Komori and Atsumu stood up from their chairs and walked over to the device that controlled the score dashboard. So, what's the feature? There is no feature. Huh? I just wanted to talk to you about something. Do you like 𝘹𝘃𝘲𝘴? Like, seriously like him? What? I've been teasing you all night, but you've always been the type to get flustered easily, so your reactions aren't that good of an indicator. Why? Huh? Why do you think I like Saken? Please, you practically look at him with hard eyes. Your voice and your body get a bit soft when you're talking to him. And I didn't miss earlier when he was putting his coat on you and you were both blushing. So, again I ask, are you crushing on him? Atsumu's heart began to quicken, and he felt a bead of sweat roll down his back. PFFT, what? No, I don't. I just see him as a friend. You can tell me Atsumu-kun, it's not like I'll tell him. I can be a wingman for you no prob. Atsumu shoved his hands into the pockets of Sakusa's coat and dug the nails of his thumbs deep into his index fingers, hoping that the pain would calm him down. Boy do you look uncomfy. Sorry, I didn't mean to cry like that. Atsumu gnawed at the insides of his cheeks, trying to calm down to no avail. Oh, you're fine Mori-kun. If that's all, I gotta use the restroom. I'll be right back. Without another word, Atsumu turned away from Komori and made his way down the familiar path to the men's restroom. Atsumu was gripping the sink counter and staring at himself in the mirror. Chill Atsumu chill. Saken is just a friend. A really good friend. You like him a lot, platonically. So don't freak out. But he was freaking out. All the tips and methods to calm down that he had learned in therapy went down the sink drain. He was freaking out and he was about to have a panic attack in the cramped men's bathroom of a bowling alley. He was shaking and panting and clutching his chest and trying to calm down enough so that he wasn't wobbling as he walked out the bathroom door. Calm down just enough to come up with a believable excuse as to why he had to go home right away. After about 7 minutes, he did calm down just enough, and he stood solidly as he walked out of the men's bathroom and back to Komori and Sakusa. There you are, you took forever. That must have been one big shit Atsumu-kun. Christ Komori. Mia, you're looking pale, you okay? Atsumu turned to Sakusa, and his legs began to buckle. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath, looking away from Sakusa when he reopened his eyes. My brother called. I need to get home. Now. I'm sorry. Oh, don't be sorry. Need help with anything? Yeah. No, it's fine. I just need to get an Uber. Wait, you didn't come in your car? No, it's at the mechanic's. Your brother? Doesn't have a car. Well, an Uber will take too long. I agree. If you need to get home quickly, you need to be home sooner. We'll drive you home. Atsumu opened his mouth to protest, because he really couldn't handle being in the same car as Sakusa right now, but Sakusa raised his hand to stop him. You're not inconveniencing us. This is what friends do Mia. Come on. Sakusa and Komori quickly gathered their things and ushered Atsumu out the bowling alley. Komori held Atsumu's beer in one hand while his other rested on Atsumu's shoulder. It's 𝘹𝘃𝘲's car, so he's gonna drive. Wanna ride shotgun, or do you want me to sit in the backseat with you? I can just sit in the backseat alone. If you say so. It was night now, and there were few street lights around the bowling alley. Sakusa and Komori used the flashlights on their phones as the three of them navigated the parking lot, finally spotting Sakusa's car and getting into it. Once Sakusa started the car and they were all buckled up, Komori turned in the passenger seat and held up Atsumu's beer. Want me to hold this? Please. Just don't spill it, you klutz. Hey. Sakusa backed up and drove out of the parking lot, using his GPS to get to Atsumu's house. The car was quiet, save for the quiet radio playing some new song from an up-and-coming pop idol group. Atsumu had his eyes closed and his head leaning against the window, wishing for sleep to come so that he could escape his troubles. Is he asleep? Looks like it. God, did you see the way he was shaking earlier? I did. He probably didn't even realize he was shaking that much. I hope everything will be okay. Me as well. You can tell that Atsumu-kun's been through a lot. Even last semester he was going through something, I'm not sure what, because he never told anyone, but his eyes were always swollen, his eye bags were huge. He seemed so tired and so unhappy all the time. This is the happiest I've seen Atsumu-kun since we finished finals last semester. I'd hate to see unhappy Atsumu-kun again. Atsumu's heart clenched at the sound of those words. Hopefully we don't have to. We're here. A few moments later, Atsumu felt the car still. The car door he wasn't leaning on opened next to him. He looked so peaceful. Right. I don't want to wake him. Maybe I should just carry him? He might wake up and freak out when you picked him up. True. Mia. Sakusa gently nudged Atsumu's shoulder. Atsumu opened his eyes and slowly rose from his position. He looked at Sakusa, who was holding the cup of beer and his mask in his hands. We're here. Atsumu nodded and turned to Komori in the passenger seat. Thanks for inviting me Mori-kun. I had a lot of fun. Let's hang out soon. Komori smiled at Atsumu and nodded. Yeah, let's. Take care of yourself, Atsumu-kun. I hope everything works out okay for you. Atsumu nodded and waved before stepping out of the car, the coldness of the air hitting his face. Sakusa closed the door behind him and handed Atsumu his beer. I'll walk you to your doorstep. Oh, okay. The two walked side by side to the door of Atsumu's house. Atsumu fished out his keys and sighed, turning to Sakusa to see a look of concern on his face. Well, I'm gonna go in now. Thanks for dropping me off, Sakan. Of course. Like Komori said, I hope everything works out okay. Yeah, I do too. I've known you for almost a month now, and we've never bothered to exchange numbers. If you ever need anything, or just wanna talk outside of our mornings together, you should be able to call or text me. How did we never think to share our numbers? Don't know, but let's do this quickly so you can hurry on inside. Okay, yeah. After they exchanged numbers, Sakusa began to walk away, but Atsumu called out to stop him. Wait, your coat. Sakusa stopped walking and looked over his shoulder. Don't worry about it. You can just give it back when you can. Ah, okay. Good night, Mia. Take care. Good night, Sakan. Finally, Atsumu stepped into his house. The second he was in, he slammed the door and threw off his shoes, clutching his stomach as he speedwalked through the house and past his brother in the living room. Oh, hey Atsumu. How was? Atsumu? Atsumu made a beeline for the bathroom, throwing the door open and stumbling to the ground. He grabbed the toilet and brought his head over it, throwing up violently into it. Worried, Osamu sprinted into the bathroom and kneeled at Atsumu's side. Atsumu, what the heck? As Atsumu continued to retch, Osamu rubbed his back in soothing circles. With tears in his eyes, Atsumu weakly raised his head and stretched out his arm to flush the toilet. Osamu helped Atsumu get to his feet and walked him over to the sink. Atsumu washed his hands before brushing his teeth, Osamu watching with crossed arms from his seat upon the sink counter. After Atsumu was done, Osamu hopped off the counter and walked Atsumu to the living room, making him sit down on the couch and sitting next to him. Osamu placed a hand on each of Atsumu's shoulders. Atsumu, what happened? Sakan. What? I think I like Sakan. No, I know I like Sakan. I've known for a bit now, but Komori asked me about it earlier and it just made it so much more real. I never thought I could feel that way about anyone again after them. I never wanted to feel that way about anyone again after them. Atsumu clenched his fists. My heart is telling me Sakan would never hurt me like that, but my stupid fucking brain is saying I'd go through it all over again. Hot tears spilled out of Atsumu's eyes as he leaned his forehead against Osamu's chest. I don't wanna hurt again. I can't hurt again. I can't. It'd fucking kill me this time. It'd kill me. I'd fucking sink a knife into my own neck. Osamu, incredibly shaken, only wrapped his arms around his brother, staying quiet and letting him cry. And Atsumu did continue to cry, held against his brother's chest, all of the demons that had been torturing him for months surrounding him and watching the show.